wow. When I stop and think about all the things that the Lord has shown me, and then what's happening like now, both like in my immediate personal life and social life and beyond that, but like out into the world, like there's all kinds of things happening that he told me was going to happen. Visions I saw, and so it's it's become more like normal for me, but I guess when other people introduce their disbelief into it, because it's like they're seeing, and I've dealt with disbelief too, so it's not a criticism, and I'm not being a hypocrite either. The disbelief that other people deal with, and I still deal with some of it, but we're seeing things like right in front of our eyes. We're seeing things out there that we all know are not. They're not all drones. Like, hello. And we know they're not all just like really awesome technology either. No, that's not what those are. Like, I beg to differ with no. And then, what we're told biblically will happen. And people who have been having, people who have been seers their whole lives, like myself, and they know right off the bat that things have been extra, with a side of extra sauce for the last couple years, but more in the last, like, 2 decades or so. But, like, a lot the last decade, and definitely the last couple years, like, really intense. And how we're dealing with things that both are in the high places and that come from underneath the ground. Yeah, the hollow earth, like, that's a thing. I have come across a lot of very, very odd, like, creepy, really creepy, like golem type shit, creepy. In mountains where I know there are caves and tunnels and like underground, terrain. There's really, really weird shit. Really creepy. Like, I'm sure it would send any group of grown men running. That's how creepy this shit is. And I've come across it in many places. I've been all over this country. And the Lord mainly was leading me next to meteorological and astronomical events that had like a physical effect on the landscape. Like, I found myself, I just pulled off the road in I was in, where was I that time though, Father? Oh yes, I was in New Mexico, or was it Arizona? No, that was Arizona. Yeah, it was Arizona. It was Flagstaff, or like outside of Flagstaff, the mountains outside of Flagstaff. And I just pulled off the road. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't have any cell service, nothing. I couldn't, meaning I couldn't use any GPS. I didn't have a map of that area. And it was like a forest road. And just pulled off from there and just headed off into the forest. Like, didn't, and after you get probably, I don't know, maybe like 200 to 300 feet in, if you turned around, you start to lose track of where you were. Unless there's a road that you followed in, you can't find your way out again. Like, you can if you have decent direction, but it's, for somebody who had just like walked in and was a novice at navigation, you could easily get lost. Easily. Lose your way and start walking the wrong direction, especially in the forest, because you really can't see the sun, especially if it's cloudy. Anyway, but I found myself like just backing up right up against what was so obviously and I didn't notice it for 2 days, but it was a really long path through the trees. Like, it had, whatever this thing was, had taken out a number of trees, like big ass trees, taken them out, and then left a trail of like different kind of soil, and then a giant freaking hole in the ground. It wasn't a hole so much, but it looked like a crater. And then all the, Bella, stop, no. And then all the soil in the middle of this crater collected a lot of water because it was muddy when I got there, and it was muddy the whole time I was there, and it was summertime, so it was kind of odd. But it was always wet inside there, like much more so than the soil surrounding in any other place. There was just a lot of water, and it wasn't even like a very deep hole. And anyway, it was just kind of odd. I noticed it, but I didn't know that thing was even there until I think the second day that we were camping there, and I was looking for a place to meditate. And out of all the places in that whole huge forest, that's where I literally backed my car up against this, whatever it is in the ground. And so I guess, and I think like a lot of other people, the unbelief thing, I vacillate sometimes between, oh yeah, this is totally happening, and maybe it's not happening at all, and not that I'm crazy, but maybe I just, maybe I was deceived, maybe I didn't hear right. I don't really think about being deceived. That's not really true, but, maybe I heard wrong, or maybe I don't know, the thing that makes me feel that way, I noticed that what makes me kind of slip back into, oh, everything's normal and everything's fine, is that I'm looking at, what seems like normal stuff to me, like sweatshirts and, yoga mats and, 4 walls. And I think it's easier for me to stay in touch with the magic of things when I'm living in my car, because I'm not using electricity, I'm not using Wi-Fi, I'm out in nature a whole lot more. Things like that. And I love that. I don't know, I'm not sure what the, so to speak, stereotype of people living in their cars is, but I have had a great time, and I miss it. Honestly, I miss it. I miss going wherever I want, and there are certain things I don't miss about it, but I do miss it. I miss the freedom. I miss just getting up and leaving, just going wherever, not to leave because I feel any type of way, but because I want to go see something else. I want to go do something else. And I think also it's easier for me to see more synchronicities. I think to see them more clearly because my surroundings don't seem so mundane and tedious. And, when it's just me and the Lord and my dog and a bunch of holy angels as for a company, it's easier, I should say, it's simpler to stay in flow with what the Lord is doing. I see more. Things are new, so my brain is, stimulated, and, neuroplasticity is a big deal. And so when I'm doing new things and seeing new things and taking in new experiences, it seems more simple and easier to stay in touch with, the mystical nature of life. And so I see how people can be, distracted by their mundane, everyday kind of stuff, like going to work or driving a car even. A lot of things can seem very, normal. But when you look out in the world, I mean, I know everybody feels it. Even the people who are, completely shut down, they know something's going on. A lot of them mistake what it is, or they attribute it to something going on with just them, which it's not. But, I mean, the overwhelming evidence that we have now, and I mean, not just the drones, but I mean, and they're not drones, I shouldn't call them that. Not all of them are. And how there are things living under the ground. I've had experiences with these things. I have not seen any of them, but I have felt them. And they come from under the ground. There's no doubt about it. They are not things from the air. They're not, they work in the same way as demonic entities because they're parasitic. That's the same. However, they don't feel like they come from the Prince of the Air. That's not where they feel. It doesn't feel like that to me. It feels different, darker, dirtier, grungier, older. That's how it feels to me. Older, more ancient. It's something else. It's just different. It's not like any better or worse than the crap in the air, but... And then we have angelic entities, and I know we have them. I know we do. Just by the nature of our world, the duality of our world, we have to have light and dark, up and down, left and right, on and off. All these things, it's necessary for our dualistic realm to exist. So, I know that a big reason why these demons are parasitic to humans is because they don't have bodies to inhabit. And there's nothing like a human body. Something about human bodies demons love. Most dark entities, the reason that they love to inhabit us the most is because we have free will. And we have physical bodies to act on the physical realm. Like of our own free will. And because the Lord destroyed them in the flood, and he chained the fallen until Judgment Day, like they were, they had to find other bodies to inhabit. This is part of the reason why, like, the Lord will never create bodies for them to inhabit. They remain disembodied spirits. That's what demons are. And they sin outside of time. Now, I've experienced and I've been told about other people's experiences and where they, I would call it like a purification, a refining of even, oh God, you are so cute. I'm having a cuteness overload over here. Oh my gosh. Overdose on cuteness. What? That was a lethal dose you just gave me. God, you're so cute. No. But these things are under the ground. They're in the air. Like, stop. The reason why they defy our physics is because they exist out... No, you're not going to do that to me. Go on. Go on. Because they exist outside of our dimension. When it says confirmation, when it says higher, like high places, it means high places, like as in altitude, high. But it also means higher dimensions, both. And God is all about the paradoxes, I've noticed. He exists in all the margins. I think that's why he has such a love for marginalized people. Maybe. I don't know exactly, but it's a guess. I said it. I'm sure there's a reason for it. But not everything flying around up there is... It's not flying, literally, but not everything out there is demonic. And we should let it go. Give it to me. You know better. Give that to me, too. Give it to me. Thank you. No. 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 But they defy, because they operate outside of our dimension, they seem to defy our physics. Get out of it. She's been pushing me lately. Go on. Excuse me. But it seems like such basic knowledge to me. Because the Lord has been working on me. But I kind of take it for granted because to me it seems so normal. All these things are just so wackadoodle. But the Lord's been showing me things. I was seeing Angels and demons literally battle over a fire in the sea, is all I could describe it as. Huge. Fire in the sea. I don't know. I literally don't know what else to call it. That's what it looked like to me. Like a giant, like, pool of lava just exploding under the sea. So it created, like, a whole bunch of smoke and steam. So it was, like, white and black smoke. It was very, like, spectacular to see. But, like, if I saw it in, like, real life, like, I mean, in the 3D realm, I would be concerned. I mean, but I was watching, like, angelic and demonic forces, huge angels and demons, fight over Santa Barbara City and the surrounding mountains. It was trippy. And I mean, I wondered at my own sanity at first. I thought, wow, am I just, like, really stoned right now? I mean, of course I knew I wasn't, but holy crap. And the things that people would do around me when I sensed either angelic or demonic forces, I would sense them, and then people would act so strange. I mean, like, creepy strange around me. Very odd. Very, very odd. And over time, I guess I just got used to it. I would say I have just gotten used to it. And you're going to get yourself sick if you eat a whole bunch of that again. Yeah, you got sick and you threw up last time. Yeah. I mean, I had to clean it up, but you had to have the sick stomach. So, you know, to me, it just seems kind of normal, I guess. I don't know what to say. And, like, also, I've been, you know, like, once you've been round around on the crazy train, you know, like, thinking that you're crazy, being told that you're crazy, and then finally finding out, no, you're not crazy. Like, not at all. Nope. It was everybody else, literally, the whole time. Not everybody, but most people. 1711 on the timer. It's like, you know that you're not really ever going to get vindicated around other people, but you kind of just, you know, like the people who called you crazy, the people who didn't believe that you weren't on drugs or didn't believe that you weren't having some kind of mental health breakdown or whatever. Like, those people, like, it wouldn't even help me if they said, oh, yeah, you were right, because a lot of those people were kind of stupid to begin with. But, like, I know that when this all blows open to, like, everyone, because most people are just, about the whole drone thing, they're in complete denial. Even people who seem to, like, know quite a bit about the weird shit that's gone on in this world, they are just in denial. Confirmation. They just seem to be like, I think that when they're actually faced with it, like the reality of it, it's too overwhelming for them. I think there's a big gap between, I know it was there for me. There was a big gap between, like, intellectually knowing that it was true and actually, like, knowing that it's true, like, knowing that, that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, like, knowing that the sun is going to come up, like, that kind of just knowing, like, not really thinking about it. There's a big gap there. And, I mean, I would call it unbelief. That's what it is, because you know that it's true, but you don't know that it's true yet. Like, you haven't quite assimilated that information as normal. But we'll get there. I mean, you'll have to. It's either that or lose your mind. Because the shit that is coming, excuse my language, it's not all shit. Some of it's, I mean, a lot of it's going to be amazing. For those of us who have prepared ourselves, there are a lot of people who love the Lord. Like, they love the Lord a lot, and I can tell they're sincere. They're sincere. They have given their life to Christ, and, you know, etc., etc. But they are so not ready for what's coming. Most people are not. I mean, I would say it'll probably even be like a shock to me in a lot of ways. Not a shock, but like a, you know, wow. I mean, it'll take a minute for me to get used to, too. But when I stop to think about And I mean, I genuinely believe that this is why it's been hidden from us for so long, is because, like, disclosure and all these things, like, our governments have known, and I say governments because it's not just the United States, the world governments, plural and collectively, have known about and had, like, what they call UFO disclosure for a long time. They've known that these things are real. They've known that they're up there. They know that there's really not shit they can do about it. Excuse me. And so they've hidden it because they didn't like is probably a, you know, legitimate thing to think that most people can't handle it. Most people will not be able to. Most people can't even get up and walk outside of their house and not play video games all day. You know, come on. And I mean young people, old people, like, it's a thing. And I wouldn't say that, like, everybody's like that, but there's been a significant majority of people kind of stolen, both, you know, knowingly and unknowingly on their part, by the kingdom of darkness. And as much as I want to get on the rooftop and scream and shout and you know, and plead with people to free themselves, to hack their organic matrix, to free their minds, etc., etc., I also know that whoever's awake right now is supposed to be awake. And whoever is not will get there hopefully quickly. You know, I just... But it's, you know, it's really serious right now. And I don't mean like in some horrible, the world's gonna end way, but like, kind of in a way, yeah. I mean, it's not gonna be the place that we think it is. It's already not the place that we think it is. We have jumped so many timelines. And like the Christ Collective, I would call us. Those of us called to be conformed to the image of God's Son, we've been pulling the majority of the weight, as did people who came before us. Who made sure that we could be here, you know? So it's not like anyone can boast. Even I couldn't boast about anything. Even my faith is a gift. The Lord gives it to me. And helps me maintain it. I think that's all I can do is maybe maintain it. And I don't even think I can't do that without his help either. But like things are, it's all real. Like I wondered most of my life, like why the Lord had me studying like occult things, even though I wasn't into them. Like it wasn't something that I studied because I wanted to practice any of them. It was something that I studied because I felt like I needed to know about it. It was something that I studied because I felt like I needed to know my enemy as well as I know myself. 2311 on the timer. And so I stuck with it. And then, you know, just like, there are a lot of things. And, you know, I don't like to be so simplistic to order the world into black and white, because I really don't think that way. There are many shades of gray to everything for me. However, when it comes down to being free of parasites, you have to pick a choice. Like there's no 2, 3, 4, 5 on the timer. Like there is no in between at all. You must pick a side. And if you don't, you will be cannon fodder. Like you'll just get tossed around. And nobody likes that. But you think that would be evidenced by seeing more people pick a side, but they just won't. They seem not to want to. The thing is that, like I said, the people who are awake are awake because they're meant to be. And what a tremendous responsibility it is to even get onto YouTube, even though I don't have that many subscribers right now, and you know, I don't think I reached that broad of an audience, but to get on here and to look you in the eye and tell you, I know that this is real. And I don't just know it from the things that the Lord has shown me in the Bible. I mean, I know it from prayer. I know it from He's shown it to me 1,000,000 times. Like, I wasn't keeping track. I'm sure I could count how many times, but the Lord has shown me this is really what's going on so many times. And sure, is there always like, you know, is there always, oh, I'm supposed to talk about this too. Is there always like a risk of being lied to? Yes. However, that lie remains the other party's lie, whether it's a group of people or a single individual, until you agree to it. And then it becomes your deception. That's a very important spiritual law to understand. If you do not agree to it, and instead of just going around like rebuking everything all the time, which gets ridiculous, it's like an automatic reject that you can either say in your mind, or you can like, just an energetic reject that you get. Like it's an upgrade that the Lord gives you. So, and I know He hasn't just given it to me. I know that that's not true. I know I'm not the only one who's gotten it. So, like, these things are actually real. It's really going on, and it's being experienced by everybody in different ways. Some people are experiencing a lot more demonic activity in their lives. And I would say, like, in the world, you're seeing that. But also, like, there's never a place that the demons are that the angels aren't too. And there are more of them, of the angels, I mean. And they're more powerful, especially right now. And as always, it's always important to keep your eyes on the Lord, solely on the Lord. It's important to know what's going on around you, but like, you don't need to focus on it in order to see it in your periphery, kind of thing. Like, you know, a vision analogy for, you know, how to look at life. But you know, and then seeing what's going on here locally where I am in North Carolina, you know, the people's land, homesteads that have been in the family for hundreds of years, or just land that is just theirs, period. Like, what does it matter? You know, how long it's been in the family or not in a family. It doesn't matter who owns it, really. But when you own something, you should own something. And, you know, the government coming in so many ways and saying you cannot build tiny homes. You cannot, you know, and if those are not permanent structures, you know, they have to forfeit their land. I mean, there's all kinds of just crap going on. Just utter crap. And, how much spiritual warfare I've been through up here. I mean, I always go through a lot of spiritual warfare, like more than most people, and which is like, all right, but it does get tiring. It does get tiresome. But you know, I pray for the perseverance to run the race marked out for me. I pray for that regularly, especially lately, because it's wild. The things going on are just wild. And, you know, what the Lord's been telling me personally lately, you know, like me messages, like, you know, the messages for Rebecca messages. It's just something else, no doubt. And how excited I am, and yet that excitement is tempered with this, like, the Lord, like my father's grief, really, because the coming of the day of the Lord is a day of darkness for a lot of people. And although that's what they chose, it still doesn't, like, it just kind of tempers the excitement in me, is all I can say. It doesn't dampen it, it just tempers it. But, you know, with great responsibility comes, with great power comes great responsibility. And it's, you know, it's humbling, and it's my honor to receive so many messages from the Father, and, you know, to be one of the voices, however small my YouTube channel might be right now. It won't always be. And, you know, even if it reaches that one person that needed that confirmation about something that I said or something that I did, whatever it was that confirmed something that they prayed about, or triggers some memory in them, you know, that they needed confirmation on, that was real. You know, I'm humbled and honored to be that for the Lord. If I can, you know, mop the bathroom floors in heaven, I'll be happy. True story. So, that'd be better than ruling over all of hell, no doubt. Or even earth, for that matter. So, anyway, I hope this video finds you blessed. I hope that it helps you in some way. I don't know how, but the Lord has plans with me, with you, with everything. So hang in there. because I know that it's tough. And like, you know, just remember that the Lord's joy is our strength. And his strength is made perfect in our weakness. So it's not always a bad thing, you know, to break down and just be like, you know what, I'm so done. I'm just so done. You know, even the best of us get there, no doubt. So anyway, I hope this video encourages you, finds you blessed. Love, blessings, and compassion to everyone. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Peace be with you.